Valparaiso is one of the country's most important seaports. The city is the capital of the Valparaiso province and the Valparaiso region. Valparaiso played a very important geopolitical role in the second half of the 19th century, when the city served as a major stopover for ships traveling between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans by crossing the Straits of Magellan. Always a magnet for European immigrants, Valparaiso mushroomed during its golden age, when the city was known by international sailors as Little San Francisco and the Jewel of the Pacific. It is disembarkation day, so we are taking the last shore excursion available to us, a bus tour of Valparaiso. This chapter will include 59 of the few hundred pictures I shot that morning, so let's get started. Although Santiago is Chile's official capital, the National Congress of Chile has met in Valparaiso since 1990. The Plaza O'Higgins was built in 1912. The opening of the Panama Canal and reduction in ship traffic dealt a staggering blow to Valparaiso, though the city has staged an impressive renaissance in recent years. This column, topped by a condor, was donated by the French community and has a very unusual base. Then we began exploring the hills of Valparaiso, o los cerros de Valparaíso. Back in its day as a major port, international sailors referred to Valparaiso as Little San Francisco, as it is similarly built on a series of hills. Built upon dozens of steep hillsides overlooking the Pacific Ocean, Valparaiso boasts a labyrinth of streets and cobblestone alleyways, embodying a rich architectural and cultural legacy. Valparaiso is protected as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Examples of Valparaiso's former glory include Latin America's oldest stock exchange, the continent's first volunteer fire department, Chile's first public library, and the oldest Spanish-language newspaper in continuous publication in the world, El Mercurio de Valparaíso. The stop at Plaza Mirador Bismarck allowed us to capture some nice pictures of the bay and landmarks like the Cathedral Tower, the German Lutheran Church, and the 12 Apostles Church, among others. Fortunately, there is no need to struggle to the top of these hills, as many have their own ascensor, funicular elevator, to provide locals and tourists alike with pain-free access to each hidden part of the city. As you turn down the twisting labyrinth streets, vibrant street art, and diverse architecture, it's easy to see why the whole city is designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site. At our next stop near the Plaza Sotomayor, we had the opportunity to walk by the entrance to Ascensor El Peral, one of the many famous late 19th and early 20th century elevators that service the hills of Valparaiso. Then a couple of blocks away we passed by Pasaje Cienfuego, where if you have a good pair of legs and you are not afraid of stray dogs, an estimated 25,000 dogs roam as strays throughout Valparaiso Cerros. You can climb up the hill using the steep stairway instead of riding the elevator that runs parallel to it. We have been told that one of the most enjoyable parts of any visit to Valparaiso is a ride in one of these elevators, but because of time restraints, we could not experience such a thrill. Steps inland from the harbor in the center of Valparaiso is the palatial headquarters of the Chilean Navy. The building faces the popular plaza named after Rafael Sotomayor, a Chilean politician and several times minister. In the center of Plaza Sotomayor is the Monumento a los Héroes de Iquique, a monument which is constantly guarded by a naval officer and honors the heroes that fought in the pivotal Battle of Iquique during the 19th century War of the Pacific between Bolivia, Peru, and Chile. The remains of national hero Arturo Prat are buried beneath the monument, and an eternal flame burns at the site for this hero whose portrait resides on the 10,000 peso note. The Justice Tribunal building. Statue of Justice holding collapsed scales. This quaint triangular square was named after Aníbal Pinto Garmendia, who served as the President of Chile between 1876 and 1881. The Neptune fountain was installed in 1892 and is one of the oldest in the city. The Museum of Natural History. The Plaza Victoria takes its name in honor of the Chilean victory in the war against the Peru-Bolivia Confederation. The Valparaiso Cathedral overlooks Plaza Victoria. Built in neo-Gothic style between the years 1930 and 1950, it had to be reconstructed after the earthquakes of 1971 and 1985. The Santiago Severin Library, the first public library in Valparaiso and the second in the country, dating from 1873. The Arco Británico was donated to the town in 1910 by the British community there to mark the centenary of the independence of Chile. The monument, covered in marble brought from Italy, is surmounted by a British Victorian lion and is decorated with the images of 4 Britons who participated in the Chilean War of Independence. The arch was visited by Queen Elizabeth II during her official visit to Chile in 1968 and by Prince Charles in 2009. Francisco Bilbao was the icon of a generation. He dedicated his life to the cause of democracy, spending part of his life in exile and suffering constant persecution. Ex Casino de los Oficiales de Carabineros. This Christopher Columbus monument is the first that rises to the discoverer of America in South America and the second in the world. It was inaugurated on September 23, 1877. The monument was ordered in France in 1875 and has been in its present location since 1895. Monument honoring the Valparaiso Firefighters Brigade.
Una no es ninguna, dos algo será. La tercera es de Raimundo para sembrar nuestra amistad.
Universidad Técnica Federico Santa Maria was founded in Valparaiso on April 27, 1926, when the Federico Santa Maria Foundation was established, thanks to his will and testament. The entrepreneur and businessman from Valparaiso wanted to leave his country with a center of scientific and technological studies to train professionals at the highest level.